Antifa down at ICE one night, they were trying to remove some siding. This is what you need, guys, okay? You need one of these. They were trying to use sticks or something. This is supposed to give it a kind of a weathered gray look, maybe like a building that's down at on the coast, or as you people on the East Coast call it, the beach. I used to live there on the East Coast. Used to go to Long Beach Island in the summertime. Beach Haven, Ship Bottom. Isn't that a cool name? That's just like the best name for a town, is Ship Bottom. I don't know where it got that name. There was an old, I don't know if it's still there, an old whaling ship called the Lucy Evelyn. And it was turned into a gift shop. I don't think we ever bought anything there, but we always went in there just to walk around. I'm sure a lot of people did. Just go there to walk around, not actually buy anything. I'll put this outside where it's a little windy, and maybe that'll help it dry faster. I'm not going to use the same stuff for every piece because I want some variety. Men like variety, right? Mostly what I want to focus on now, though, is this election. This is important. We've got some really important things like the governor's race, obviously. And we've got IP28, ballot measure that would ban basically ranching, hunting, I think fishing. And boy, if they get away with it here, it could. They'll try it in other states too, but it would just destroy Oregon. It would just destroy the livelihoods of thousands of people who produce food. I think it's like the most noble profession, to be a farmer or a rancher and produce food, feed people. Now, it may only be a small percentage of the population, but back in the day, like when our country was young, like in the 1700s, 50% of the population worked in agriculture because agriculture was kind of inefficient, right? We didn't have all the modern equipment and the fertilizers. So you needed 50%. And if the shit ever hits the fan, and we go back to living like it's 1860, 50% will be working in agriculture. I highly recommend a book by James Kunstler, series of books called A World Made by Hand. And Kunstler he wrote this series of novels about an apocalyptic sort of dystopian future in which there had been a big war in the Middle East. Washington, D.C. had been nuked, and there was no more oil, and basically everything, shit hit the fan kind of stuff. Everything fell apart. So, it's a regular novel with a protagonist and, who encounters difficulties that he has to overcome and all of that good stuff that makes a good novel. But it's also a kind of an interesting attempt to imagine what a future like this would look like. And what he imagines is that people go back to farming because the number one priority, I know Democrats would find this hard to believe, but the number one priority is not tampons in the boys' bathroom or gender-neutral bathrooms, it's food, right? Because we die if we don't eat. And some people set up kind of feudal type systems where they see what's coming and they buy a whole lot of land, and if you want to be fed and have security, you can work there on their land, but you're going to do what you're told. And everybody who isn't, and then some people have their own little deal going, work on their own farms, and they're using horses and oxen and mules. And for the people who aren't engaged in farming, they're doing things like making candles. Which means, I guess, some people are going to be engaged in raising bees so that you have wax for candles. I'm not going to give away the story. Well, there's actually 4 of these novels, so there's a series of stories. It all takes place in upstate New York. Kunstler tells a good story. He's a very unusual guy. This one's a little cupped. It's kind of cupped this way. So it sits better this way. Somebody said, am I a carpenter? No, I'm not a carpenter or an electrician or a plumber, but I've done all that stuff for myself. And if I don't know how to do something, so in the old days, back in the day, I had a book called something like the Do-It-Yourself Guide, and it was published by Reader's Digest. Now I just go on YouTube, because everything you need is on YouTube. It's YouTube you. I don't even bother reading like the instruction manuals that come with stuff anymore, with gear. I just go on YouTube. Somebody's probably going to say, why are you using this little circular saw instead of a chop saw? Well, I tried using a chop saw. I had one here yesterday, and I found out that my Goal Zero lithium-ion battery does not handle either the surge or the continuous running needs of my chop saw. It's a real power-hungry chop saw, and it wants 1,800 watts, I think, continuous running, and the battery is rated for 1,500. So that's a no-go. And I may invest in a little battery-powered miter saw, like Makita makes a nice one. That one is probably overkill for this sort of finishing work that I'm doing. It's like way more power than I would need. And those Makita batteries give you an awful lot of time before you need a recharge. So this won't make quite as straight a cut as the miter saw, the chop saw would, but it's good enough for government work, and this is a bug out cabin. I got a pretty cool breeze running through here. I think it's probably about 67 outside. Yes, I did use the same brush for two different colors because I don't have running water up here to clean brushes, and I don't have a whole lot of brushes. That's one of those things, like, how did brushes get so damned expensive? Like, such a basic item. I don't understand why brushes are so expensive. Maybe somebody can figure that out for me. Brushes and paint. Now, paint, I think, got expensive because, like during COVID or something, the one factory that makes the stuff that you need to make paint, like, had supply chain issues or something. But brushes, I don't know. So I don't have running water, but I do have a barrel with some rainwater in it that I collected. And I've got to let these dry before I can put them up. But maybe the ones that I started with are dry enough now to put up. After I get these walls done, I can hang some of these little antique things that I bought while I was doing road tripping in Montana that I thought would be like kind of fun. Oh, I missed a spot. That's a little better. Two and a half, 19 3/4. I need a couple pieces in that size range. That's a little cup. Hopefully it'll work out okay. Now, the question is, will these pre-cuts fit better now? I think I can put those up. That's better.